Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's most prestigious Global Community Leaders Conference by the World Humanitarian Drive. My name is Samantha Mock, and I will be your host alongside Ms. Hema Doraisamy. We are now live, joined by audiences and the media from across 12 countries around the world, and present with us here today are three very important guests. Please welcome our Honorable Founding Chairman and President of the World Humanitarian Drive, Dr. Abdul Basit Said, Secretary General of the World Humanitarian Drive's Malaysia chapter, Professor Dato Dr. G.P. Doraisamy, and the Global Head of Technical Department, Ms. Sarah Wilson. Today's conference is called Malaysia for Peace, a befitting theme that is more relevant than ever in 2020. We are living in times of high conflict on top of battling with the aftermath of a pandemic. We are now faced with global political unrest, the US elections, we have the gunman incidents in France and Austria, the evident systemic frailty in our global food chain. And the World Humanitarian Drive has a very tall call today to stamp our presence in striving for humanity. In an age where the tragedy is often sensationalized in the media, members of the World Humanitarian Drive around the world will offer compassion and resilience to protect the peace. Today we have with us here 10 panelists, of which 7 of them have won the Global Humanitarian Award Stars of COVID, and 3 outstanding social entrepreneurs with strong advocacies for humanity. All of them have played an indispensable role remotely in Malaysia, strengthening everything that the World Humanitarian Drive believes in. As aforementioned, we have a tall call, and this is only the beginning as we come together in solidarity to give our strength to our honorable founding chairman of the World Humanitarian Drive, Dr. Abdul Basit Said. Before I invite him to give us his most anticipated opening speech, allow me to briefly introduce to you this wonderful man. Dr. Abdul Basit Said is a British Indian global peace activist, writer, and entrepreneur based in Croydon, UK, who was accredited with peace, education, trade harmony initiatives globally. He is also awarded the Ambassador for Peace by Universal Peace Federation, as well as the Mahatma Gandhi Award by NRI Welfare Society, on top of a multitude of international recognitions of his services to humanity with a history of nearly 2 decades. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Honorable Founding President, Dr. Abdul Basit Said, to give his opening speech.
Thank you, dear Malaysia. Selamat petang. Apa kabar? I hope I've said it right. So selamat petang to everyone. Good evening, Malaysia, to everyone. Respected leaders of humanity, I am deeply happy and honored to speak to you all today in this important forum, Malaysia for Peace. Before I start my speech, I kindly request you all to close your eyes and give your silence for a few seconds as a mark of respect to the innocent lives lost due to the recent terror attacks in France, Austria, Saudi Arabia, and many more places. We add together with the victims of this COVID-19 pandemic in our silent prayers. So I request you all, please close your eyes and have your silent prayers for a few seconds. Thank you. Dear friends, we are living in an unprecedented time. And today, my speech is in relation to WHD activities during this pandemic. As the founder of WHD, I'm proud to announce with my team of Secretary Generals from 12 countries, we have organized or partnered close to 25 programs globally in the last 6 months. This is to create millions of humanitarian impressions, to touch the soul of millions of people, to inspire 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 millions of people, to insp people. And these are events attended by various heads of states, diplomats, and even His Holiness Dalai Lama, each positive story from various fields. We have launched breast cancer events, to poetry events, to social activism, to discussing immigration policy for children. All these different events are focused in making us as humans feel happy, confident, and to give all hope. Wherever you are, regardless of religion, race, country, color, WHD is trying to give you what we all believe in is hope and love. As we are all joining together in the common vision to promote oneness of humanity. So I say, every sunset brings the promise of a new dawn. Every sunset brings the promise of a new dawn. So are our initiative during this pandemic, which has been a key motivator for people to work for the common goal of peace, education, and trade harmony. Why are we doing these programs around the world? Simple reason: to create happiness, as happiness is the richest income one can possess. So we are trying to spread happiness around the world by creating peace and supporting initiatives of trade harmony and education. This is the common theme why we are doing these programs. What is the importance of Malaysia in this? We have 7 global humanitarian laureates in this program today. And they are the leaders of various organizations creating impressions for humanity in a positive way, not only in Malaysia, but all around the world, gathered here today. The reason why they're gathered is to make an impression of positiveness in this promised land of Malaysia. This promised land of Malaysia is a unique land with various cultures, various civilization, and distinct language, yet you're connected by heart, soul, one. So you're one of the most dynamic, tolerant of all the countries I've ever seen. The dynamic and the tolerant. Today, there's a lot of things which are happening in this world, and Malaysia should always occupy the center stage of this world, which to build the peace as the message. That's why we named this event as Malaysia for Peace, because I strongly believe Malaysia as a country has got a lot of richness, and the best of richness is his promise for peaceness and happiness. So that's the moral message of Malaysia, which has took me in this particular theme, Malaysia for Peace. I further say WHD is not an organization anymore, as I don't feel distant to Malaysia. We are all family, a family of humanitarians who support each other to build love, hope, peace. So my humble request to all the 7 global humanitarian GH laureates of Science Bazaar and all the other program, SOC, Stars of COVID, and all these events, I kindly request you all to work together with WHD to make the world happy and beautiful, just like Malaysia. So this is my humble request. So Malaysia stands for peace with the motiveness of keeping the humbleness of love as our common theme. What is the role everyone should play during this pandemic? I think we all should unite to bring happiness and peace as the common motivator. As I am confident, existence can't be without a reason, and everyone should fulfill their promise of the creation. I strongly believe this. Everyone should have to fulfill their promise. The promise of the creation is to live with love and harmony with our neighbors. So let's have this promise installed in our hearts and our mind. So everyone knows what peace stands for, but do you know what peace exactly, the words which we have to coin it by? Peace stands for positively embracing all cultures equally. Positively embracing all cultures equally. And I feel no other better country we can say that at this point of time, except for Malaysia, which stands to positively embrace all cultures equally than ever. So thank you, Malaysia, for doing this. And I end my speech with a common pledge of WHD. I kindly request you all to join me in this pledge of unitedness. So everyone, start my pledge. Kindly read it with me. I understand my human rights.
We are all equal.
I understand my human rights. And we are all
equal.
Understand my human rights. And we are all equal. I promise to respect
others as me.
And care the nature with love. I will be honest
and
positive. I will be tolerant. Even those I disagree. I will not condone hate
or terror.
I will stand with others.
Who are treated unfairly.
WHD motto.
As the WHD motto.
Love conquers all.
Love conquers all.
To live with love for all.
I promise to live with love for all.
Thank you, Malaysia. I promise to live with love for all. Thanks for reading the pledge together with me. So a million thanks to all the audiences in Malaysia who have created this excellent program to create an awareness. I'm sure a lot of speakers are going to speak at the end of this day, and I'm very much eager to watch each and every one of you. And I once again thank dear Honorable Dr. G.P. Doraisamy for initiating this great event to create the oneness of tolerance which Malaysia always stands for. So thank you, Dr. G.P. Doraisamy, and thank you, our Global Secretary General, and as well as all the other important team members, including Kerlin and all these people, for making this excellent program to create the oneness. Thank you all. God bless you, Malaysia, always.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Syed, for your heartfelt speech given to all our members in the Malaysian chapter, as well as our entire country. We are certainly living in times where it is so easy to take advantage of one another for survival. Your speech will certainly leave a deep impression in our hearts as we continue to carry the torch and be the light of the world. Without further ado, let us hear from our most esteemed speakers who have so generously offered their time to be with us here today to share their words of wisdom. First up today is Yang Berbahagia Datin Paduka Dr. Mother Mangalam, the Life President of Pure Life Society and the Vice President Datin Punam. I wish to point out that at 94 years old, Mother Mangalam is still relentless in serving humanity, and it deserves all the recognition in the world. Mother and Datin Punam, the time is yours.
Thank you. Yes. Actually, humanitarian work comes to be only during difficult times. And in my case, the World War II and its aftermath, when hunger, sickness, lack of medical care was rampant, This state of affairs melted my inner being. The strength to persist in this work comes actually from my guru, His Holiness Swami Satyananda, Justice of Peace, whose presence was my inspiration. In fact, I have been kept on this humanitarian upliftment since I was 20. You'll be wondering why. The happiness that swelled within me in the course of solving problems that was confronting me from time to time actually kept me going. I was very good in mathematics as a schoolgirl, and every time I had a very difficult problem and I was able to solve it, I felt great happiness within me. And this happens even in lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother Mangalam. Next, we have Mr. Haji Jais Abdul Karim, the President of Malaysia Corruption Watch. It is an honor to have you here with us, Mr. Haji. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Samantha. Good evening, everybody. I really appreciate this opportunity to be with WHD. I want to express my specific appreciation to Professor Dr. Doraisamy and also Mr. Syed Abdul Basit and the whole team who are here together. For us, the award is very wonderful and really motivates us to work further for the future of Malaysia. As an NGO man since I'm 15 years old, I believe the fight of NGO in Malaysia as the third forces in the country is very important. So, especially in the fight against corruption, we are really committed, and we hope that the whole community of the world, especially the NGO in Malaysia, will involve with this noble fight. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for your introduction, Mr. Haji. Next, we have Mr. Padmanathan Raman Nair, Deputy Chairman of the Malaysian Armed Forces Indian Veteran Association in Penang, who won the Stars of COVID Award under Pillars of Society category. Stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Manta. A very good evening and salam sejahtera to all. First and foremost, I would like to extend my sincere thanks and heartfelt gratitude to our founder and president, Honorable Sir Dr. Abdul Basit Said, Ms. Sarah Wilson, Director of WHD Global Operation and Team, Professor Dr. G.P. Doraisamy, Secretary General, WHD Malaysian Chapter, host Ms. Samantha Mok, and the moderator, Ms. Hema Doraisamy, for giving me the wonderful opportunity to be here today. If it is not because of Dr. Doraisamy, I won't be talking here to all of you. My name is Padmanathan, and I'm the Deputy Chairman of Malaysian Armed Forces Indian Veteran Association for the state of Penang. We are also popularly known as PRIM. For your kind information, I was an Air Force personnel who served the Royal Malaysian Air Force for 13 years in the field of aircraft avionics system. And I'm here with the Armed Forces Association for the past 5 years, where I started my career as a secretary in the association. Now, allow me to briefly describe about our association's history and background. It was first initiated and founded in year 2006 by a mere 38 members in Kuala Lumpur, and our first president was Major Bawani. We have about 10 branches in 10 different states nationwide, and we are in the midst of establishing our next branch in Sabah, which is in the East Malaysia. Currently, we have about 3,000 members nationwide, and Penang alone accommodates about 170 members. And our present national president is retired Warrant Officer 1, Mr. Thomas. Our direction is to support and care for the interests, welfare, happiness, safety, security, and future of our members and families. Our primary objectives is to assist the Indian Armed Forces, veterans and families in 5 key areas, namely welfare, health, education, business, and religion. And our secondary objectives are: number 1, to promote Malaysian Armed Forces nationwide; number 2, to encourage and motivate the younger generations of Malaysian Indians to participate in the Armed Forces career promotions; and lastly, to provide special education programs for Indian school dropout students. And this will be our major task for the year 2021. I'm proud to say here that this is one of the most prestigious and also top active association in Malaysia, compared to 157 registered armed forces association of the same kind. When we were soldiers, we fought and defended our beloved country. And now we continue our service to the community in a different tactical mode. As the saying goes, once a soldier, always a soldier. Thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Padma. That was very impressive. Now we have Dato Dr. Florence Sinaya, founding president of the Society for the Prevention of Suicide and Mental Health. Your advocacy is ever more relevant to today's generation, Dr. Florence. The stage is yours.
Good evening to the Honorable Founder and President of WHD, Dr. Abdul Said, to our esteemed Director of WHD Global Operations, Ms. Sarah Wilson, to our Honorable Secretary General of WHD Malaysia Chapter, Professor Datuk Dr. G.P. Duraisamy, and to all the highly respected global humanitarian laureates, valuable guest speakers, and a warm, engaging host, Ms. Samantha Mock, and moderator, Ms. Hema Duraisamy. I wish to extend my greetings and my gratitude to be invited to this prestigious forum. My name is Dr. Florence Sinaya. I am the founder and president of Sneha Malaysia, which is a non-profit organization. I've been involved in social service for decades and draw special attention to suicide prevention for the past 14 years. I have led actually many projects on suicide awareness and prevention, both at state level and at national level. And I've actually spoken about solution-based approach to suicide prevention at international forum, and also shared about suicide prevention work that is being carried out in Malaysia at the international forums. So I hope everyone can hear me all right.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, because I have difficulty with hearing me. Prior to actually being involved in social work, I've been a human resource practitioner, have close to about 33 years of corporate experience at senior leadership level. I retired about 3 years ago. I hold actually a PhD in business management, and as well as master's degree in human resource management and a master's degree in psychology. I'm also, besides doing social work, I'm also a freelance lecturer as well as management consultant. Besides that, I am also one of the directors of Penang Women's Development Corporation, PWDC, which actually looks at the interests of women in the state, that is gender equality, inclusivity, plus representation of women in politics, as well as women in economy. Plus, we also develop policies with regards to a safe family. My interests have always been aligned to fair treatment of people, ethics and compliance. I've been an active advocate of positive mental health, as well as suicide prevention. I've actually championed interests of women and also the marginalized. So for my contribution in leadership as well as for community work, I have received various international as well as local awards. And among those awards are World Women Leadership Award in 2015 from WWLC, which is World Women Leadership Council and CSR. In 2017, I received Outstanding Women Leadership Award from Global Globe Tigers. And at the same year, I also received a Lifetime Achievement Award from same organization, Global Globe Tigers. And most recently, I received a DSPN, which is an award that was awarded by the Governor of Penang State in 2019 for my services for the community. So today, I'm actually very, very humble and deeply appreciate the contributions that we have made, especially Sneha made during the Malaysia lockdown, was deemed important and worthy of receiving the Stars of COVID Award. And I'm really very thankful for the recognition. So at this juncture, I actually would like to say my deepest appreciation for my team in Sneha Malaysia for standing shoulder to shoulder with me and believing in the cause, as well as all the doctors, consultants, and psychiatrists that we have always turned to for support. They have been there for us in times of, when we have challenging issues. I also like to say thank you to my family for believing in my passion and supporting my purpose in life. And also huge thanks for Professor Dr. Rurai, who is also a patron of Sneha Malaysia, for his encouragement and support. And also lastly, I would like to say thank you for everyone involved, especially those directly or indirectly involved in making this event a success. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your introduction, Dr. Florence. As someone who almost lost my best friend to suicide twice, I must say that your advocacy is something that I hold very dearly to my heart. So thank you for what you're doing. Next, we have Mr. Ahmad Tarmizi Mokhtar, the Secretary General of Humanity Malaysia and former Special Advisor to OIC Special Envoy for Myanmar. Very pleased to have you on board today, Mr. Tarmizi.
Thank you, Samantha. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala and very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Honorable WHD Founder, President Honorable Sir Dato Abdul Basit Said, and Ms. Sarah Wilson, Director of WHD Global Operation and Team, and of course my deepest gratitude to Professor Dr. GP Doraisamy, the Secretary General of WHD Malaysia Chapter, and also the host, Ms. Samantha Mok, for your effort organizing this event. It's a very beautiful event. And I deeply humbled receiving the Global Humanitarian Award on behalf of my team in Humanity Malaysia. My name is Ahmad Tarmizi Mokhtar, and I'm a chartered accountant and also internal auditors in my professional career. And I have 20 years working experience in corporate and also humanitarian works. And in the social front, I'm the Secretary General of Humanity Malaysia since 2014. In my professional career, I've also involved in many corporate merger and acquisition. And if I can share this experience, it's very wonderful. But this is not the time for me to share about it. But then I want to share with you what Humanity Malaysia is all about. Humanity Malaysia, established in 2014, the 7-year-old NGOs has involved in humanitarian advocacy and also many seminars and roundtable in Malaysia and also around the world. I love to do a lot of things. I love to help people. That's why I advocate myself in Humanity Malaysia, where we involve in helping orphans, refugees, and also IDPs in Myanmar and Bangladesh. I believe in doing right thing first time. So every time, this philosophy I learned when I worked with Honda Malaysia in 2002. I love to be with friends, making new friends, and also helping others, not only in the social work, but also during my day-to-day routine. I'm all with WHD founder in creating peace, happiness, forgiveness, and reconciliation. I'm all with WHD chapter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tamizi. Next, we have Mr. Naresh Pillai Ravindran, the Head of Business Development for Nisha Resources, who also won the Stars of COVID Award under Best Societal Spirits. Please, Mr. Naresh.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank you. Very good evening to my fellow brothers and sisters around the world. First and foremost, I would like to thank our President, Honorable Sir Abdul Basit Syed, Ms. Sarah Wilson, Director of WHD Global Operations, Secretary General, Malaysian Chapter, Datu GP Doraisamy, and our host today, Ms. Samantha, and moderator, Ms. Hema, and everyone who have directly and indirectly involved in WHD. So I'd like to thank all of you. My name is Naresh Pillai Ravindran, and I'm from a small town in Malaysia, which is called Banting. So I've been, by profession, I'm an airline pilot, and I'm also a deputy chairman for United Malaysian Hindu Voice. It's a non-government organization. And my team and I have been working almost 14 years doing our social work. We have been actively involved in social work for past 14 years. We have worked very closely in 6 important key areas, which is education, social economy, welfare, health, global advocacy, and youth empowerment. That was our key area. So we have been doing a lot and learned a lot throughout our journey, and we are willing to learn more together with all this team. So that's a small introduction about myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Naresh. And now we have Mr. Muhammad Nasir Mohidin, the founding president and advisor to Pelita Association, who won the Stars of COVID Award under Best Societal Spirits. Please, Mr. Muhammad Nasir. Mr. Muhammad Nasir, are you here?
Mr. Muhammad Nasir, please unmute yourself.
Yes, just press on the microphone.
Yeah.
Yes, got it. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sorry, actually, compared to others, I'm not that well well-educated guy. Okay, I'm a very low education. But anyway, I forced to be here today. Thank you very much to our founder, Dr. Abdul Basit, and Ms. Sarah, and also Samantha, and not forgot our Ms. Hema Dorisamy Dato. Then, of course, a lot of good-hearted people with me now. I think I would like to introduce that I'm Muhammad Nasir. Since I'm involving in small traders as a seafood trader in Chaurasta market, and yes, my origin is Georgetown, Penang. I've been involved in NGOs, several NGOs, such as Penang Chaurasta market as a president, Bazaar Traders, ex-president of Muslim Kadai Nolun Association, ex-member of Kadai Nolun Muslim Association, a life member of Liga Muslim since 2008 till now, ex-secretary of Central Muslim Society, founder of Penang Muslim Tanjung Pulau Pinang, and advisor for Penang Muslim Tanjung Pelita Baru, president of Tamil Muslim Welfare Association called Taslim, and deputy chairman of Rukun Tetangga, ex-secretary of Penang Mosque, ex-panel of Penang Education Council, ex-panel of Penang Human Resources Council, and as a board of visitor at GH Penang, and newly, thank God, and wishes a lot of thanks, which as I never dreamed, Global Humanitarian Drive Award. Okay, then I'm a life member of our Malaysian Corruption Watch, from our Haji Jais, the president, and I recently received another chairman post through the Kementerian Perdagangan Hal Ehwal Pengguna. That means consumer, related to the consumer, and which I have highlighted a lot of issues, and some of the issues are settled, some are pending, but anyway, we do our best for the humankind, okay, for the everybody, not only for some groups, no, overall humanity base. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad Nasir. I just want to say that I am so humbled to be, amongst all of you here, and each one of you here today has such extensive experience in, driving humanitarian works that a new kid in the block like me just wants to look up to all of you as my personal role models. And I mean this in the most sincere way possible. So thank you to our esteemed award winners for all your introduction. Now I'd like to welcome three of our guests, beginning with Mr. Alagesan Ayaru, Founding President of Charity Foundation Association of Penang, Chairman of PCCC, and also PNM Board of Advisors. The stage is yours.
Thanks, Samantha. A very good evening, all of you. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our founder, presidents, Honorable Sir Abdul Bashir Said, WHD Global Operation Team, Ms. Sarah Wilson, Secretary General WHD Malaysia Chapter, Honorable Professor Dr. G.P. Doraisamy, our host today, Ms. Samantha Mock, and our moderator, Ms. Hema Doraisamy. My name is Alagesan Ayaru. I'm from Penang, Malaysia. I'm a founder president for Charity Foundation Association of Penang, chairman for Peace Children's Care Center, board advisor for the PNM, national council member, and chapter chairman for Universal Peace Federation Malaysia. Studied and graduate in 3 different fields, which is in engineering, business administration, and computer science. Received my highest award as an ambassador for peace by Universal Peace Federations during an Asian Leadership Conference ALC in Bangkok, Thailand in 2018. I'm also holding various positions in local and international NGO, such as advisory role, chairman, board of management, life member, and internal auditor. For our Charity Foundation Association of Penang, our mission and vision is to serve and develop community. Our key focus and bureaus include the education awareness, welfare aid, community outreach, women empowerment, youth development, sports, intellect exchange program, and cultural activities. For our Peace Children's Care Center, our mission and vision is a home for children of today to make a better tomorrow. Our key focus category kids including orphans, neglected, underprivileged, autism, cerebral palsy, childhood cancer, deaf and blind. For our PNM and UP of Malaysia, our mission and vision is to promote the global peace, embrace a harmony lifestyle. And our organization's major roadmaps to envision the future progress and achievement, the 20 target is to own our good own building with the good facilities, the center for the community, continue to develop a community toward a better social economy and lifestyle, collaborate and develop engagement with the state, federal, government, and government bodies. And we also aim to be a benchmark organization for the family focus, unity, community, and peace. Last and not least, we also very ambitious to be a branch out our services throughout the global. Thanks for the invitations for the WD Malaysia chapter, especially Honorable Professor Dr. Doraisamy to invite me as one of the guest speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Alagesan. That was a very extensive portfolio that you have there. Next, we have Mr. Ezra Tan, a smart technology agripreneur and also the CEO of Kairos Agriculture, a smart urban integrated farm. Please introduce yourself, Mr. Ezra.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm extending my gratitude to our President of WHD, Honour Sir Abdul Bashir Said, and also our Director of WHD Global Operations Team, Ms. Sarah Wilson. and Secretary General, our Professor Dr. Dorai Sami. Of course, our host, Ms. Samantha, and moderator, Ms. Hema Dorai Sami, and all good-hearted person indirectly and directly involved in WHD, media and friends. Good evening. I'm Ezra, a young Penangite that started to be a young volunteer in the Handicap Study Center 20 years ago. Whole social work journey started by my physical challenged cousin's sister. However, currently I'm humbly managing an integrated farm named Kairos Agriculture. We are a new startup currently managing a 6-acre integrated eco farm that located in Pematang Pau, Penang since February 2020. But in March 2020, we were hit by MCO due to the pandemic. However, we still try our best to push the farm work. We started to running this agro-business with a team of 7 young people that age between 20 to 35. Our passion is integrated eco-farming. However, our anchor crops is vanilla. We focus on vanilla planting by using smart system and also collaborating with our research partner, University Science Malaysia. We want to create the best environment for vanilla to grow in Malaysian climate and ensure the best quality and quantity of the crops. We believe this will increase the export value of Malaysian agriculture produce. This will hopefully divert the government's focus on oil palm and rubber alone. I'm also a past president of JCI Bukit Mertajam. What I have learned from JCI is service to the humanity is the backbone of life. We are heading to the next level of enterprise, which is to be a social enterprise that creates CSV, common shared value. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Ezra Tan. And last but not least, let us welcome Mr. Jason Yu on board, the founder and CEO of iGym in Kuala Lumpur.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Samantha. Okay, good evening, dear friends. Firstly, I want to say that I'm very humbled by the special opportunity given to me by our Professor Dr. G.P. Dorai Sami. My name is Jason Yu, with 23 years in wellness industry. I founded iGyms in Malaysia. Purpose is to raise awareness about future eyes and health deterioration. Actually, I was diagnosed with AMD, that's called age-related macular degeneration in 2007. Knowing that the solutions is slowly going blind. It's a very horrible feeling. But through nutrient and therapies, today my eye is fully recovered. Since I was given second chance in vision through research and experience with technology from Taiwan, Japan, and Australia, iGym was established. It's my responsibility to ensure everybody's future eye and vision are well taken care of through natural therapies and the best nutrition from the world. Similarly, my lifelong best friend, whom some of you have heard, Dr. Billy Tang. He met with the accident 5 years ago and became paralytic and blinded his left eyes. We both share the fear of overvision loss. But through therapies and some lifestyle changes, his left eye's vision had been restored. My vision of lost experience my vision loss experience made me want to share what I have experienced and I know to the world. And I had represent the iGym to advocate the prevention of lifestyle-related disability, particularly eyes together with the impact partners PWD Smart Family founded by Dr. Billy Tang for Humanity Project 2. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jason, and thank you all for your wonderful self-introduction. I am confident that today's session will surely be a wonderfully insightful one that will restore faith in humanity. Ms. Hema, the moderator, will take the lead in the Q&A session that follows. The stage is yours, Ms. Hema.
Thank you, Samantha. Good day, everyone. I'm pleased and honored to be given yet another opportunity to moderate today's topic of discussion, Malaysia for Peace Global Community Leaders Conference. I'm sure all our audience today are excited and eager to listen to our amazing lined up speakers today. Without wasting any further time, let's begin with our first speaker for today, which is Yang Berbahagia Datin Paduka Dr. Madha Mangalam. She's the Life President of Pure Life Society. Good evening, Madha Mangalam. Now, your first question for today would be, what inspired you to carry out humanitarian work? Madha Mangalam.
Okay, now. I think I mentioned a little earlier in my introduction that it is actually the difficulties encountered by so many thousands of people in Singapore during World War II. But at this particular moment, it is the sufferings by so many families who have been confined in their homes without being able to get at least a meal to satisfy their hunger. And if I may say, the lockdown actually occurred on 18th of March. And the first thing that occurred to me was to open up our doors and grounds for this cause of helping those in hunger. And we had to get quite a number of volunteers from all over the country, especially the NGOs and people of businesses, to be able to carry out this program of satisfying a person's hunger. And actually, the magnitude of the pandemic was so great that it was impossible to work single-handedly. So we had actually volunteers working all through the night till midnight, day and night, where they had cooked food. And we had been given about 12,000 over meals for a period of 10 days. The groceries were packed sometimes so that they can sustain themselves at least for a few weeks. And I must say, at least more than 100,000 people benefited from this service that was rendered all over Puchong area and some from the nearby villages. The affected people were actually the elderly folk, the very poor families, home alone people where food was delivered at their doorstep, the refugees from the refugee centers, we had to give it to them, hand it over to them, and the street people, and also the construction workers who were locked up by their bosses, where we found them suffering from hunger. So we had to give them a knock at the gate, tell them to open, and give them the food packets. And of course, there were also the well-to-do. Doesn't mean to say well-to-do really can get their meals, especially the home alone ones. So we had to get them, attend to them and deliver home, make home deliveries possible. Actually, this actually caught us by surprise. And it was a pleasure having all the NGOs meet and work with one heart. And I must thank at this juncture the various people who had donated towards this. The poor milk vendors used to bring us barrels of milk to be able to distribute. And there were lorry loads of people from quite a number of hills like the Cameron Highlands and I don't know where, who brought in vegetables to be able to, for us to cook or to distribute free during this period in time. So we thank them all, the volunteers and the givers, with our heart, soul, heart and soul. And I do hope God will bless them always.
Well done, Mother Mangalam, to your association for the support that you have rendered to people who were in need during the lockdown. My next question to you would be, what keeps you going all these years with this humanitarian upliftment work?
Well, I love solving mathematical problems. And every time I happen to solve a problem, I feel very happy within myself as a schoolgirl. So it is the same thing even in life. It's a problem, great problem. And every time I see the smiles in other people's faces, I feel happy myself. It's just that happiness. It's not selfish, I must say. It's my happiness.
Mother Mangalam, I really look up to the amazing work that you do, and I'm really honored to be given this opportunity to actually moderate you today. Well, in this juncture, I would also like to ask Datin Poonam, maybe you could speak a little bit about Pure Life Society.
Well, I would rather Mother speak about it because she is Pure Life Society.
All right, okay. So Mother Mangalam, maybe a few words about Pure Life Society.
It would be better coming from her because she is for Pure Life Society and Pure Life Society is her.
All right.
Well, I can't refuse her. She has been actually my stalwart for the past 5 years in my work, and also the vice president of the organization. The organization started as far back as the time when World War II ceased. It was a very difficult time. There were so many orphans out all over Malaysia, and we were the only organization. In fact, we started off as a paper organization, going to the estates and delivering the food and clothing at their doorstep. But soon we found that was very tiresome. It's better to start off a home where they can come and we can give the children education. Because so many children were without education soon after the war. So we had adult evening classes and at the same time schools, a private school, and later slowly change it into government-aided school where we had to comply with certain rules and regulations together with the home. In the beginning, we had more than 145 children and also homes set up in different places in the states, forming certain committees. And in fact, behind all this actually was His Holiness Swami Satyananda, who has been working through the war period, together with the then political leaders. So this is something I don't want to, but then you see, time went on, there were so many other things in which we had to go according to the country's needs, and we have more daycare nowadays.
Well, thank you, Mother Mangalam, for the question and answer session. And once again, I'm strongly impressed by the amazing work that you and your association do. Thank you once again and congratulations. Now let's move on to the next speaker for today, which is Mr. Haji Jais Abdul Karim. He is the president of Malaysian Corruption Watch. So, Jais, are you ready for your questions?
Yes.
All right. The first question to you would be, what are the roles of Malaysian Corruption Watch in combating corruption in Malaysia during the movement control order?
Thank you, Ms. Hema. Actually, as an anti-corruption NGO, we are focusing more on the public service announcement. Almost every day, we publish our public service announcement in our Facebook with regard to corruption and also awareness on about the COVID-19 problem. Among the important thing about our public service announcement or PSA is about the roles of society in handling corruption issue in our situation. Everybody have two functions. First is to create program and create awareness among our own community about corruption and the dangers of COVID-19. Second is to educate or give knowledge to our people how to be the ears and eyes of the Malaysia Anti-Corruption Commission. We as the community must have the spirit to help this agency for us to curb the corruption problem together. In Malaysia, the problem of corruption is still in the middle, not too serious. But we cannot wait until the corruption problem become more serious, then only we take part together. It's not an exclusive work of Malaysia Anti-Corruption Commission alone. It's us as the community. As you can see behind me, the corrupt shall fear us. The honest should support us. And the heroic must join us. And anti-corruption must start from you. We don't have to wait until one community or one specific community change, then only we want to change. We, ourselves, our own self, we must start change ourselves and influence our family, our friend, and our community to be together in this fight. So with the public announcement, which is at least twice a day, we do in our Facebook, Malaysia Corruption Watch -MCW, really affect the community. Every day with the Facebook virals and also other social media virals, at least we touch 5,000 members, Malaysian, all over Malaysia. That is our main function during the MCO, Dr. Hema.
All right, well done. I strongly believe that it starts from us. Now, your next question would be, what are your personal motivation behind your active participation in this anti-corruption fight?
Actually, in the year of 2006, I was investigate by the Malaysia Anti-Corruption Agency, whereby I know I'm not guilty, but as a normal human being, I feel very sad, I feel very weak to meet them, to show the evidence that I'm not guilty. After that problem and my case, they find there is no case against me, then I think if I myself, a very strong motivation man, also feel weak when to go and give a statement to prove that I'm not guilty, how about other person? So as a normal community leader, as a we must encourage corruption cannot be a weapon to tarnish people's image. Corruption or corruptor, we must fight together with a correct way. That is the motivation for me. That is first thing, Emma. Second thing, I'm also the leader. I'm the president of among the oldest organization in Malaysia called Federation Malay Student Union. The government give a lot of budget to improve Malay education, but I find that it's impossible to improve because there is a lot of misuse of power, corruption among the administrator. So unless we fight the corruptor, then only the education of the Malay can improve. If not, we just forget it. How many billion ringgit provided for Malay education, we cannot achieve the target to improve the education because of the misuse of power and corruption. Thank you, Dr. Emma.
Thank you, Tuan Haji, and well said, very rightfully said. And once again, congratulations for the awards. Now, let's move on to our third speaker for today, which is Mr. Padmanathan. He is the Deputy Chairman for the Malaysian Armed Forces Indian Veteran Association, Penang branch. Now, Mr. Padma, are you ready for your questions?
Yes, certainly.
Yes. The first question would be, what will be your association's future plans in terms of services to mankind, environment, and others in line with the World Humanitarian Drive objectives?
Thank you very much, Nsemo. The actual fact is we are almost there in terms of tying up with the strategies and objectives of WAHD. The only thing which is needed now for the association is a little bit of tweaking, fine-tuning, and of course, we need to create awareness among the community on peace and harmony. We have indeed identified three major important areas to enhance our services and activities. And they are already in our pipeline for year 2021. Number one is environmental impact and aspect. This is in line with the ISO 14001 environmental management system. We are going to emphasize on elements such as 3R, which all of you are well known that this is reduce, reuse, and recycle. The other one is cleanups in your community, or in Malaysia, it's well known as gotong royong. Awareness on water and electricity conservation among our community. And then planting more trees. As you can see in Malaysia, more trees are being chopped rampantly than one who really can go and plant a tree. And the other one is some extreme measures on reducing carbon footprint when we talk about greenhouse gases. Number two, humanitarian work enhancement. What I'm talking here is focusing on neighborhood services, fundraising projects for the needy, and of course, setting up a disaster relief team. I'm going to set up a relief team, especially for the Penang branch for the moment, before going into the other branches. So this is just the suggestions in our pipeline. And the last but not least is education, which is a very important aspect. Number one is to include subjects related to humanity during our motivational talks. Actually, we do a lot of motivational talks in primary, secondary school, and also the higher learning institutes. And now we are just going to instill the humanity to the people. And many of them are actually aware of this, but the only thing they are not practicing. Probably we have to do this, get to reach people on the humanity. And the other one is promoting racial and religious harmony. And lastly, emphasizing on humanity should be our race and love should be our religion. I think I have addressed your question directly, Ms. Hema. Thank you so much.
Mr. Padma, well, that's an amazing lineup of projects. I wish your association all the very best. And coming from Penang myself, heads up for that, all right? Now, the next question would be, what are your association's anticipated challenges for year 2021?
Right, thank you again. Since I took over Penang as a number 2 man, what I observe is the financial constraint is our bottleneck, of course. Everybody is facing financial problem, and the other one the world is facing, which I will touch shortly. As you're well aware that we have numerous activities and services to render, and all this involves financial aid. And I must admit that we are actually getting a lot of financial assistance from the state government, prominent personalities, donation from the Good Samaritans out there, and of course from the members itself in the association. But all these are always inadequate, and we are looking into means and working on ideas creatively and innovative on how to build our fund so that we can accommodate the rising needs among the community. That's one of the challenges that I'm facing, or our association is facing right now. Secondly, as the whole world knows that we are battling against COVID-19 pandemic, and it seems the virus is not going to take a rest any sooner. Of course, we are facing difficulties in reaching out to people in need, meeting with the community, and also the carry out of physical activities due to movement control order or condition movement control orders. For your information, I must say that now in my association, most of the members, the live members, are more than 65 years old and in their late 70s. So they are very vulnerable in the high risk category factors in terms of contracting the disease. So as a leader, of course, they are not complaining or they're not backing off from doing what our services to the community. But as a leader here, or the second man in Penang, I should be very concerned and high responsibility to effectively address and mitigate the issue before it's too late. We are also working on this, Ms. Hema. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Padmanathan, for sharing. I wish you all the best, in overcoming your challenges. Now, let's move on to our next speaker, which is Dr. Florence. She is the founder and president of Sneham. Dr. Florence, are you ready for your questions?
Emma, I am.
All right, your first question would be, could you share about your organization, Sneham Malaysia?
Well, first, thank you so much, Hema, for that question. The strategic intent for establishing Sneham Malaysia in 2018 is actually suicide prevention. Yearly, this is according to WHO, 800,000 to 1 million people take their lives by suicide, which is 1 death every 40 seconds. I'm not sure if everyone knows this data, but every 40 seconds, 1 person will take their life by suicide, and that works out to about 3,000 deaths daily. And also the other alarming figure is for every death by suicide, 25 other person would have tried and failed. Now, as I mentioned, right, that these numbers are actually alarming, yet there's public apathy and social stigma on mental illness and suicide prevention. And because of this, it deters people from seeking help. If they have any mental health related issues, they do not seek help. Furthermore, with regards to suicide, it is also viewed as a crime in many countries, including Malaysia. And in Malaysia especially, we do not have national data to help us understand the depth of these issues. And there's no consolidated national effort to prevent suicide. And if you all know that suicide affects everyone, the rich, the poor, the young, the old, it affects everyone. And based on media reports, the young are the most vulnerable in Malaysia. The young as in from the ages of 15 to 40, they are the most vulnerable group. So though there are helplines offering services in English in Malaysia, we started Sneham to complement the reach and also expand our coverage, offering services in 2 main languages in the country, which is Tamil and Bahasa. So to actually, carry out our mission, we embarked on a three-pronged approach to suicide prevention. One is, of course, the helpline services. We provide toll-free tele-counseling services, extending emotional support for anyone who is going through a personal emotional crisis, is lonely, depressed, suicidal, can call us and talk to us. They can speak to us in Bahasa if they want to, Tamil, or also in English. So that's the first, approach that we take. The second one is, of course, advocacy. We believe that, instead of reactive, we need to do a lot of promoting work regarding public awareness on the importance of mental well-being and suicide prevention. So what we do is we carry out a lot of talks in the community and schools via seminars, workshops, trainings. We participate in a lot of talks on promoting positive mental health and coping skills to manage stress. Of course, the third one is collaboration. Suicide is a complex mental health issue. It's the responsibility of all. So what we do is that we work in partnership with government agencies, NGOs, and other mental health organizations in their campaigns and programs. So what our callers can expect when someone calls our helpline, they can be assured of confidentiality. If they decide to remain anonymous, that is okay with us. All we want is for them to actually, talk to us about their problem. We extend non-judgmental services. Our services are free. And the other thing about Sneham is that we are a non-religious, non-political organization. Our services are actually purely run by public donation and funding. And everyone who picks up a call at our center is a trained volunteer. And, Sneham is also a member of Worldwide Befrienders and Samaritans of UK. We are also a member of International Association of Suicide Prevention. So our volunteers are regularly, go through a training on effective listening skills, how to show empathy, and also being there for someone who needs emotional support. Having said that, I also would like to reiterate that our work is not to replace counselors and mental health experts. When we hear of someone having serious mental health issues, we always ask them to seek medical treatment.
Well, that's a great initiative, Dr. Florence. Well, I too agree that positive mental health awareness is actually very important, especially given the current pandemic situation. In this juncture, I would also like to tell you that I'm a member of Malaysia Positive Psychology Association, which we just started during the COVID times here among a group of friends, and I'm actually the treasurer at the moment. So we can look at doing something together. Well, the next question to you would be, what prompted Sneham to stretch your service hours from 4 to 24 hours? And how was Sneham's services received, and what were your challenges?
Okay, so I believe that many of the speakers have touched the issue of COVID, right? So as we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic is far from a medical phenomena. It has actually severely disrupted lives of individuals, families, and societies at all levels. And the strategies embarked, which was to contain the outbreak, initially and until now, was to contain the outbreak, which is basically restricting movement, asking people massive stay-home orders, social distancing, quarantine, isolation. All these have significant impact on individuals and relationships. So when it was MCO was announced in Malaysia, everyone was left to deal with the dilemma on their own. So as a mental health organization, Sneham recognized the anxieties and hardships people who suffer, and we responded to the crisis immediately. Say whether it's a hunch or an instinct, but we realized that we need to do something about the issue. Not that anyone asked us, but we stepped up to extend our services. And true enough, we received a lot of calls from people who were overwhelmed by fear, grief, depression, losses, and were concerned about their safety. And there were also cases of domestic violence, abuses happening at home, where people are all trapped in their house. And there were also people who were calling us for other forms of help, which actually we directed those calls to the other NGOs. So while many organizations were reaching out to people, attending to their physical needs like providing food and financial aid, what Sneham did was we served behind the scenes, increasing our helpline services from 4 hours. Usually our service hours is 4 hours. We extended to 24 hours daily to meet the psychological need of the community. We published our, our extension of service news in all the social media like Facebook, WhatsApp, and we were also listed as one of the helplines the public can reach by the Ministry of Mental Health, which is our number is 1-800-225757. So some of the challenges we faced was at the time of MCO, because of volunteers from going to the center. Hence, we had to work with very skeleton crew of volunteers manning the helpline for 24 hours. But then we got creative. We got creative in directing the calls to the volunteers' mobile, and they can answer the calls from their home. And we introduced additional mobile lines and also WhatsApp services where people can text. As mentioned by one other speaker, is the other challenge that we face is funding. So our operating costs actually went up very high because we were, working around the clock, and offering a toll-free service meant we picked up the bill. So each time we receive a call, the charges were directed to our organization. So funding was an issue, and we also can't appeal for, donations. But nevertheless, we kept our services going through the donations from the public and contributions from friends, people whom we know. But now our work is not going to end there, as we all know that, as disasters strike, we anticipate our work to be even more critical moving forward. Especially, people are going to suffer from what we call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And not only that, the economic impact to livelihood, it's going to affect a lot of people, and our services are ever more critical. And if I may add a little bit on what happened during that time was, over the span of 5 to 6, 7 months, we recorded the highest numbers of calls. Daily, there were, every month we would have about 85 to 90 calls. It would range from 15 minutes to 2 hours. And 45% of those calls were from people who had underlying mental health issues. They were lonely, they were depressed, and staying home locked down without friends, without anyone, make them even more, vulnerable of hurting themselves. And among the callers, of course, women and young ladies made up 68% of the calls. The rest came from men. And of course, from male callers, it was more about impact to their career, impact to their family, and those type of issues. And some elderly would actually share with us being neglected and lonely, whether they should continue living. So everyone who called our lines, we attended to them. And I have to say this, that among all the calls that we received, 35% of the callers had suicide ideation. They had some thoughts about ending their life. And 12 of them were in imminent danger of hurting themselves. So with their permission, we immediately called for medical attention, and they received appropriate attention. So not only that, during the time of COVID MCO, we got creative in terms of organizing seminars via Facebook Live. One of the first session we had was mental health matters, and the second one was suicide prevention. It was purely done in Tamil. So we continue to create awareness that don't give up on living, reach out, speak to someone. That effort continued, and it's still continuing. So once again, I actually like to thank WHD for giving us this platform to share about our humanitarian work, which is always done behind the scenes, and people might not know what we were doing. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Florence, for sharing. That was a very, very good sharing. I'm sure all of us picked up some really, really important points. Now, let's move on to our next speaker for today, which is Mr. Muhammad Nasir. He is the founder, president, and the advisor for Pelita Association. Mr. Nasir, are you ready for your questions?
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, so let me ask you the first question. Now, Mr. Nasir, can you briefly share, for the benefit of our members and international viewers, on the roles, voluntary services, and qualities required of an NGO leader like your good self, and how and what are the social activities and programs that you and your organizations have done in the last 10 years? And what are the vision and mission for the next 10 years?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to thanks to all of our related brothers and sisters, because we are already one family now through our WHD group. And good evening to everyone. I am Muhammad Nasir Mohidin from my Pelita Association. The requirement of fundamental qualities on welfare NGO through the role of leadership that we as an NGO must acquire to serve mankind, or to develop a passion to serve mankind. Love for humanity shows our kindness through our heart to others, charitable disposition, humility, honesty, thirst of knowledge, desire to share with others who are needy, and a constant desire to strive in the cause of God by doing good. And most of the volunteer services and program are uncounted since throughout 20 years ago, without think about the colors and races. After all, we are creation by the one creator. Even our holy prophet Muhammad emphasized love, sympathies, kindness towards all human beings. He also emphasized that we must show others a great appreciation, and it also my Pelita's Association vision and mission too. I think that's all, nothing much.
Right.
Everybody are doing the same great work, social work. Thank you very much.
Great. Now, the next question will be, as one of the 7 selected winners of the Stars of COVID 2020 from Malaysia by the World Humanitarian Drive on June 28, 2020, what are the activities and aids identified and executed by you and your organization during the pandemic COVID times?
Oh, I think first of all, I have to wish a million thanks to the selection committee of Stars of COVID-19, because I'm also quite surprised when I received a message from our admin, Ms. Sarah Wilson, that I was one of the recipients due to my social work services to mankind throughout more than 20 years. I'm also never been dreamed and expected such a great appreciation from valuable, reputed, world-recognized NGO. As a human, we are here with humble beseech to Almighty God to forgive and have a mercy on creation and weaken the strain of COVID-19 rapidly stops its spread in the world. When COVID-19 pandemic started, NGO realized of the needful for the poor family and also the frontliner where they are struggling for the food and etc. etc. Most of the NGOs around the world has put on their efforts, not only with money but also supporting the NGO with delivering grocery, face masks, PPE uniform, and etc. etc. But we have to respect the frontliners who are really work even though day and night, because they are taking they have been taken care. Also, where our group of Pelita restaurant had come forward to share their commitment to help the needy people. So Pelita Association also involving various of sector, highlighting public issues through newspaper article, TV appearance, success issues, a lot can be viewed through Facebook. Humanity is a value property in each and everyone heart. Then I have also received several appreciation certificate from the Tamil school for participating, sharing food and accommodation to more than a few hundred students when holidays turns up. But of course now all we are following the pandemic COVID, and many more to be shared soon, such as newspaper article, TV, whatever things all. And I have received award from local NGOs too for the social services which has been served as such as Makkal Nala Sevagan, Lachia Tondan, Samudaya Tilagam, Makkal Murasu, and maybe to be continued. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everybody. Thank you.
Well done, Mr. Muhammad Nasir. Keep up the amazing work that you do. And yes, very rightfully said, we have to thank our frontliners for the amazing work that they did for us during the lockdown period. Now, let's move on to our next speaker for today, which is Mr. Ahmad Tarmizi. He is the Secretary General of Humanity Malaysia. Mr. Ahmad Tarmizi also co-shared the work of hosting with me the last session of our WHD Malaysia conference. So, Mr. Ahmad Tarmizi, are you ready?
Yeah, ready, Hema. Thank you.
Nice to have you back again, and this time as a speaker.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, now the first question to you will be, during the unprecedented crisis that hit the majority people's well-being, since March 2020, we are experiencing a new normal where social distancing and wearing face masks is a must wherever you go. Can you share with us some of the Humanity Malaysia's contribution during MCO?
Thank you, Hema. Well, brothers and sisters, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This pandemic have resulted total lockdown. Date to remember everybody is 18th of March 2020. It's affecting all of us really. I can really remember when was the last time the world had lockdown due to the crisis. Take for examples, in KLIA, the nearest example, especially to all Malaysian. In the past, in 2019, KLIA welcomed at least 60 million passengers. And but because of the pandemic, today KLIA can only welcome not even 20% of the last year's volume. So can you imagine? That was the nearest example for us. Like me personally, I cannot move around easily because the roadblocks just a few hundred meters away from my house. Luckily, our telco line is still alive. We can still talk, communicate, see each other online. Alhamdulillah. However, I like to see this crisis as a blessing in disguise. We never know what sins we committed in the past, politically, socially, and economically. I think the Almighty has shown who is the boss. Allahu Akbar. In Islam, ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Definitely Allah certainly will guide us to the straight path. Ladies and gentlemen, during MCO, Humanity Malaysia has mobilized their volunteers in Selangor and Kuala Lumpur, sending foods and medication to frontliners. Well, we have also reached few tahfiz schools where the teachers hasn't gone back to their homes. I personally deliver the food to the frontliners nearby. Not only that, we also mobilize our volunteers to deliver aids to the non-Muslim schools in Kajang, Sri Kembangan, within the Klang Valley. That's all, Emma.
Well, okay, thank you, Tarmizi. Now, the next question would be, we realized you have been involved in advocacy, humanitarian and social works in Malaysia and neighboring countries such as Myanmar, Bangladesh since 2014. In your wonderful journey of helping others, can you share with us what is your biggest satisfaction?
Wow, what a question, Emma. Thank you for the question. Generally, none of our efforts have satisfied me really, because of I believe we can do even better when we work cohesively and collectively. I'm not saying we are doing it alone, of course not, but a lot more need to be done. If I may list it here, it will take a long time to deliberate. With this unprecedented pandemic, all need help as access to basic livelihood becomes so vulnerable. Many losing jobs, Hema. Politically, we need more effort, especially from state actors. These were non-state actors like us, NGO, like 7 laureate leaders here, like us, Humanity Malaysia, need to work closely with the state actors, reminding them about importance of humanity values, sustainable socio-economic development in their policy making. However, coming back to your question, Emma, my most satisfying moment was when I saw the smile and the happiness on their faces. I feel 1001 my problems drop, my headache relief, my dilemma gone. Allahu Akbar. What more can human being given? Like people, nobody like me, extending our hand, helping others who really need help badly. Here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm preparing my humble slides. What Humanity Malaysia is all about. If you can see the first photo, our visit in Sitwe, Rakhine State, is a refugee camp. The confine of the, if you remember, is Rohingyas living in the confined refugee camp. When we deliver food and medication to them, you can look at their faces. So that's why I've said my satisfaction is when I see their smile. And the second photo, we did well for them. All in, we did more than 15 to 20 well in Rakhine State. And if you can see the another photos, we did together with other NGOs. We did together with other NGOs delivering aid, mostly in Myanmar and Bangladesh. If you can see the photo number 6, number 7, we also not only focusing on humanitarian alone, but also in the political engagement and advocacy. In 2015, we signed with ASEAN Peace Reconciliation Council based in Bangkok. If you can see the photo, that was the Ambassador Kopsak and the former Deputy Prime Minister of Thailand, because of we believe the friendship and togetherness and brotherhood can be achieved when we partner with a strategic organization like them. That if you can see the last photo where Humanity Malaysia table refugee issues in the Human Rights Commission in Jeddah, Saudi. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, the existence of Humanity Malaysia, because of our work with the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. When Excellency Minister Akbar was the special envoy in 2014 and 2017, we worked very hard in focusing on 3 angles: political engagement, humanitarian, and advocacy. Because we in Humanity Malaysia, our job is putting the pieces together. That's why today I'm deeply humbled and honored to be part of WHD family in fostering the spirit of peace, happiness, and humanity. Thank you, Hema.
Thank you, Tarmizi. Keep up the amazing work and congratulations on the award. Now let's move on to our next speaker for today, which is Mr. Naresh. He is the head of business development for Nisha Resources. Now, Mr. Naresh, are you ready for your questions?
Hi, Emma. Yeah, as always. Go ahead.
Right. In your opinion, what kind of help do people generally need?
I mean, you mean during the COVID period, right?
Yes, during the COVID periods, yes.
Okay, actually, the primary need was during that time, according to my experience and my view, they needed health and safety. That was the primary need. And as everyone, the whole world know, Malaysian health department has done a wonderful job until our Dr. Nur Ishan has been chosen as ranked as top 3 in the world. So congratulations to our Malaysian health department, our doctors, So second thing was our safety and security side. Our police, military, their work was very well done. They have controlled the situation very well. So the health and safety was primary thing. The third important thing was food. Obviously, the utmost important thing was food. Obviously, government couldn't do this by themselves because it's a huge area. That's where all these NGOs and many other organizations came in. So when we talk about food, I don't know whether you all have noticed at initial stage of MCO, when MCO was announced, it was almost middle of the month. So people was panicked. Many people, when it comes to food, many people try to go and buy and stock up their food. So there was out of stock. A lot of shops was out of stock. You know, there are two categories of people. Some people with money in their hand, and some people who have to wait until end of the month to get their salary to go and buy. So initial stage, the food was a big trouble as well. Most of the shops was run out of stock. And in Malaysia, if you see, we call it a bottom 40 category, where people, many of them, a majority of them work for daily wages. If they go to work on that day, they earn their money. So in this kind of situation, when they couldn't go to their job, so there was no cash in their hand, so they couldn't go and get their food. At the same time, another thing which most of us forgot, that our markets was closed. So a lot of food have been wasted at initial stage, like vegetables. You know, vegetables, you can't keep it for very long; it will spoil. So vegetables was wasted. Markets was closed. So if you see this carefully, at one side there was excess of food until they can throw that. You know, at the other side there was no food to eat. People are suffering from no food. So this is where the NGOs came in. We work like a mediator in between both of this to properly manage the logistics, to make sure people get their food supply. And so this was one of the most important things. Food was ultimate problem for everybody, but somehow or other we have managed, and many organizations in Malaysia, not only my organization, and many other organizations have came up with their welfare charity drive, and they have done their best to supply food not only for the vulnerable people, for those who have couldn't get the food, including our frontliners, those who are working in hospital, they couldn't get their food on time. You know, they can't simply go out and buy their food. So we have even experienced, we got to send some food for the hospitals, main hospitals, which is handling COVID cases. So that's one side. Besides this, we also had, you know, every house, there are girls and women. So there are special need for women and girls. There are special items which we need to, you know, arrange for them. They couldn't go out to get it. And also patients, many houses, we had patients, like diabetic patients. They really need their medicines, injections, and old people who need their pampers. So a lot of things besides this food. There was a lot more things which we couldn't think of. And I would like to take this opportunity to highlight a little bit on the neglected people during this time, because I like to tell this now so that the media people are watching, so that next time they can focus on this kind of people. What I feel, some of them are neglected. The most neglected people are homes and orphanage homes and old folks homes, because usually if you see the old folks homes in Malaysia, usually when people celebrate their birthday there, when people go and pay a visit there, so they'll start buying food, they'll start giving donations and all that. Now there's no one to go, there was no help there. So the home orphanage kids was helpless. They had a lot of needs, milk powder, their food. So they had, I feel they have been neglected. So another group is transgenders. They have been neglected also, I feel. And another important group is refugees in Malaysia. There are a lot of refugees in Malaysia, like from Sri Lanka, India. There are a lot of refugees. And I feel they was not given proper attention. And we tried our level best to help them as well. And foreign workers, Malaysia had a lot of foreign workers. Most of them are working in 3D jobs. 3D means dangerous, dirty, and the wages is very, very less. They go to work, they earn their money. If they don't go to work, there's no food for them on the day. So that's how bad was their situation at that time. So they was neglected, I feel. And also, most importantly, the blind and handicapped people. So at least we normal people, we can go and buy outside. We can get, somehow or other we can get our supplies. But the handicapped and blind people have really suffered according to our view. So these are the neglected people. So why I'm saying this now, because people are watching. So I maybe if this thing repeats again, people can focus on this kind of group of people. So that's it. Hema, I think I answered your question.
Well, thank you, Mr. Naresh. Well, listening to you, I actually can remember the chaos and the stress, during the lockdown, and how the shelves actually went empty from, supplies of food. And also, thank you for highlighting on those who were neglected. So hopefully people can actually pick up from here and, try and pay more attention on these people. Now, the next question to you would be, during the MCO period here in Malaysia, there were also festivals that were celebrated. However, there was a restriction in movement. So how do people face it from that time till now?
Well, this is a wonderful question. Hema, Malaysia is a bit unique. Malaysia is, everybody who watching, they know. If you understand Malaysia properly, we are known for our culture, we are known for our festival, we are known for our food. So festivals play a very important role, and we do enjoy our public holidays. No matter you are Muslim, you are Christian. So every holidays we celebrate, every festival we celebrate as Malaysians. So we also get our, even for Raya, we get our public holidays, we get to go back home, spend time with family. In this MCO time, I think Thaipusam was one of the biggest events, a public holiday in Malaysia. I think Thaipusam was partially affected, not fully affected. That is the stage, that was the beginning stage on February. So it was not fully affected, but Hari Raya was very badly affected. So one thing, festivals come with cost, people need money to celebrate as well. So people was out of cash. They couldn't spend much on things during festival, and also end of the day, they can't celebrate with their family. And again, without forgetting, our Deepavali is coming soon. And until now, there are a lot of families out of cash. We are still, my team and I still trying to work out something for them, at least a food aid for them. So we are still working out. So festivals play an important role. In Malaysia, festivals we are not seeing festivals just as a festivals. Festivals are with emotions and sentiments, a lot of emotions and sentiments inside there. For example, there are so many elderly people waiting for their children to come back on that day. We call it Balik Kampung. In Malaysia, no matter it's Deepavali or Hari Raya, all that we call it as Balik Kampung. So they have to come back to home. They work outside for years. That is the only time, public holidays, they can come back home to see their old parents. So in this time, and what about the young children, their parents working in overseas, working in different states? They have to come back during that time. That is the only time they can see their parents. But this is very disappointing that none of this happened during this time festivals. So what I would say is, dear Malaysians, don't worry too much. Let's save it for next year. Let's have a blast next year. So I hope everything will get back soon. Another small thing which I want to highlight, Ms. Hema, mostly many organizations, including our organization, we have used up most of our cash balance, cash reserve to support during this time. Because even it's new for us, new for many of us. We have never experienced this lockdown before. In my lifetime, this is the first time I'm going through this. Many people have, many people have predicted that this situation will be solved in like 5 months. It'll be okay. It'll be fine before December. So many predictions was coming in. But no matter whatever said and done, for me, I feel like I don't know what the prediction means, but for me now, my neighbor is hungry, so I got to do something. So that's what my team and I we literally used up most of 90% of our cash reserve to do all these things. Until now, we are doing. So many other organizations out there are still doing. I hope people who are watching this, please come forward. And all the social workers who are here in this conference are also considered as a frontliners, equal to doctors and doctors and our armed forces. So these people here, those who have worked hard day and night for the people, for this charity works, they are also considered as frontliners. We have to appreciate them as frontliners. Do give them support when they come and ask you. Don't say no to them. That's all, Hema. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Naresh. Very rightfully put. And I really like on your Balik Kampung part, because honestly, I was one who was also affected because I was away from my parents and I could not go back. So yes, I felt the pain at that time. So anyway, well, that's a wrap with the Global Humanitarian Laureate Award winners. Now let's move on to our 3 guest speakers for today. So the first guest speaker for today is Mr. Alagason Ayaru. He is the founder and president of the Charity Foundation Association of Penang, and he's also the PCC chair. And Mr. Alagason, are you ready to take on the questions?
Hi, Emma.
Hi, nice to see you, Mr. Alagason. I also like to make a note here that Mr. Alagason is actually an old boy of VM High School, which is also from my school. So yeah, proud to have you here. Now, Mr. Alagason, the first question for you is, how does your organization respond to community during COVID-19 lockdown, and what are the activities that took place?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Emma. As a charity organizations, my organization, Charity Foundation Association of Penang, we receive a lot of calls, WhatsApp messages through our Facebook official page. We managed to reach about a few hundred families, needy family, for their grocery item and also medical item as well. Those who, especially those who are underprivileged, single parents with a lot of kids, elderly who surrendered, the kids are in outstations. They don't have a food for food and medicine. So we managed to get and help them, reach them. To mobilize all these items, I must thanks to all my wonderful dynamic team. They're very strong and they are working day and night to mobilize all the items to all those who's needy. And not forget all the frontliners. And we're also working with local assemblyman and also the member of parliament during the COVID-19, especially the first stage. Is very new norm to all of us. And one of the sessions, one of the activity I do is with our Professor Dr. GP Dorasamy. The distribution is one of the area that are nearby is residents, and he found out a lot of issues encountered, not only the community that need foods, item and all that. There are some special needs also at their house. Some of the elderly people cannot even move. They don't have a proper medicines, supplies and all that. So I think I personally feel it's very pity for them. And some of them, they can't even access to social media, or they cannot use phone. They don't have access. They don't have a prepaid to call for any supports. So these are challenges, especially those who's in the rural area. This is a challenge my organization is facing during a COVID-19 lockdown.
Right. Now, the next question for you would be, what are your opinions about the community based on the current situation of COVID-19 and lockdown overall in general?
Okay, about this, I think most of them, the biggest impact is those who daily wages, the hawkers, and some of the factory workers. They lost their job. Some of them still under unpaid, unknown about their future, and those is them under mental health issue. I think Dr. Florence been facing this more than our organization anyway. And up to today, we have about 100,000, almost 100,000 workers been retrenched in Malaysia. And this number is really alarming. We hope the government is coming up with new measures to help them. So far, Malaysian government are giving aid during the COVID-19. I hope Malaysian government continuously will help those who are needy, especially the bottom B40. And the biggest challenge community facing right now is for those who are in a technical and non-technical job. So we encourage them to go and venture some jobs in online, like digital marketing. The public have to face the new challenges, adapt to the new lifestyle, environment, and social economy as well. And I hope it is not too long. And some of them also they're stuck with the car loans, home, and also study loan. So I hope the COVID-19 will end very soon, by God's grace. and we're back to the normal life again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allegason. Yes, we can all hope and pray for this situation to come to end soon. Now, let's move on to our next speaker for today, which is Mr. Ezra Tan. Mr. Ezra Tan is the smart technology agropreneur, and he's the CEO of Kairos Agriculture. Mr. Ezra, are you ready?
Yes.
Right. Mr. Ezra Tan, as a young, successful agro entrepreneur, kindly explain this history of how and what made you decide to venture into the agricultural business venture. Now, do you also have a mentor or a motivator who's guiding and coaching you? And your young team in your national award-winning Malaysia Book of Records on smart vanilla farming and integrated natural farming on the 5th of October, just very recently. So maybe you can explain a little bit about it.
Thanks, Hema. Actually, this whole journey, we started from Kuching, Sarawak by our founder, Mr. Alfred Phua, and also Madam Chia Shok Peng. We started a farm that focused on social work to create impact on single mom and also mental challenged youth. After we received a good product test report from Japan Naga Flavoring Company that gave a very good report for Malaysian grown vanilla. That's why we decided to expand to Penang by engaging modern farming technology and also resources that I think is more accessible in Penang. Although we started the expansions, but we hit by the MCO of pandemic with several months of hard work and of the whole team. By last month, as Ms. Hema just now you just mentioned, we are so grateful to receive a recognition from Malaysia Book of Record and also witnessed by our Penang State Governor, TYT Tun Datuk Sri Utama Datuk Haji Abdul Rahman bin Haji Abbas, as a Malaysia first smart vanilla farm. Of course, we have 3 mentors that help us to guide our whole young team to today and also in future. The first one is our Mr. Alfred Phua, who is also the founder of the whole integrated eco-farming concept. The second one is Mr. Stephen Lai, who is also the strategy advisor to the Honorable YB Halim from Penang State Government. And third one is Mr. Andrew Yee, who serves as our life coach. In Kairos, actually, we believe in 4T. I always mention to whole team, which is we believe in 4T. The first T, which is team. Together, everyone achieve more. This is what we believe. The second T that we are believing is technology. We believe that by applying biotech and smart farming technology, this will bring us to enhance our agriculture, the whole nationwide or even worldwide to the next level. The third T, trend. The trend of humanitarian drive and CSV, common shared value, that make us an exemplary model in Malaysia and beyond. The fourth T, transformations. We believe that through agriculture and related agro business, we are ready and able to empower and transform our future generations. I know we are young, but we still have future generations to be empowered and transformed, as well as to provide solutions for a better food security and national circular economy. In Kairos, our tagline actually is more than a farm. Thanks, Ms. Hema.
Well, seems like you have some amazing people at the backbone of Kairos. Now, next question to you will be, we understand that you have signed a memorandum of agreement with another national popular social group, People with Disabilities Smart Formalities, headed by Dr. Billy Tang. Could you briefly explain of this new strategic business collaboration and how this will benefit the poor and the underprivileged societies? The Penang State Government has also allocated you a total of 6 acres of agricultural land. What are your next plans of expanding your agro business? In which greatly that will benefit the young generations, or rather the youth generation?
Thanks, Hema, Ms. Hema. Yes, we partner with PWD Smart Farm Ability that is established by Dr. Billy, who invented the world's first organic terrarium vegetable grow box. We have promised to engage the poor and marginalized, as well as the mental challenge or physical challenge group that in our production lines. So we believe that through this partnership between both of us, we can ensure the underprivileged group will get the equal job opportunity and can also enjoy the nutritious and organic food like our veggie and fish. So we will make sure all of them that provide the equal job opportunity, and at the same time they have the food, the nutrition foods, even during this pandemic. Because I believe all the speakers that just now already mentioned, during this pandemic, I believe the most impact groups is those underprivileged groups. So we believe that this collaboration between private and public stakeholder will create the best model and greatest impact for humanitarian drive. We also the planning, our next upcoming plan is we're going to have a vanilla cafe at our current farm to let Malaysians and probably in future for foreigners to enjoy the fresh vanilla produce like coffee, vanilla cake, vanilla ice cream, vanilla cookies, and so on. Kairos Agriculture will also align ourselves with Penang Government Vision's 2030 Team B3. That is to create a variety of quality tourism product across the island and mainland. Another significant project that is supported by government is our portable vanilla module. We believe that this project will help us to help those young people that between 21 to 35 years old and those categorized as low income group, which is B40 or even below, to grow vanilla. So we will teach them the skill, we will provide them the whole series, include the planting material, the skills to plant this. And we will starting a jungle school called SEED, S-E-E-D, School of Experiential and Entrepreneurship Development. We hope to impart to them practical soft skills like how to handle stress. I believe now a lot of young people feel stress, the time management, or even the financial management, as well as practical farming skill like how to grow vanilla, grow mushroom. And with the partnership with PWD, we might come out something in future. Stay tuned. I think this part we will let PWD to announce on that. So for those that who grow vanilla with us, we will also provide them with a guaranteed buyback scheme. So in Kairos, a passionate young team, we're putting all our effort to create social impact and to be a model that's sustainable and duplicable. It's our honor to be invited as a guest speaker at Humanitarian Drive. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time tonight. And yeah, Ms. Hema.
Thank you, Ezra, and all the best to you. Well, I look forward to going to or to visiting your vanilla cafe soon. Well, now let's move on to our last and final guest speaker today, which is Mr. Jason Yu, and he is the founder and CEO of iGym. Now, Mr. Jason, are you ready for your question?
Yes, Emma.
Now, the first question for you will be, the ability to see is very much taken for granted, and having you on board made us all realize the urgency to rectify our lifestyle to protect our sight. Can you please shed some light on what you know about vision loss?
Okay, thank you, Hema, for your question. I will be sharing with you some of the international statistics, and I come to know when I'm doing my research of my vision problem. Okay, because after I realized the seriousness of the vision for the future, I feel my responsibility on humanity is to how to help and educate people in taking care of their vision. Because one of the statistics is from WHO. Because the verdict is half of the world population will be high myopic by 2050. They expected our population will be 10 million, in half then to 5 billion will be high myopic, and they predict 1/5 of them will be going to blindness. It's a very serious. I feel I step up iGym is part of my responsibility. Okay. Number two, There are already over 285 million people worldwide are visually impaired. So that's why Dr. Billy always told me, don't add the brightness of OKU into the society. It's a very burden to the country. So, means 1/5 of the okay, sorry. There are 285 million people worldwide are visually impaired. Estimatedly, every 5 seconds, somebody in the world will be go blind. Also, another very serious. So I feel so great about this also. The third one, the statement is glaucoma patient is on the rising because of unavoidable lifestyle through handphone, computer, UV radiation, so on. Worldwide glaucoma patient expected to be increased in 2013 is 64.3 million and will increase to 111.3 million in 2040. Also another very alarming situation. So, and final statement is from Malaysian Kementerian Kesihatan expect tsunami cataracts in 2030. If not detected early, many of them will end in blindness also. My point is your eye health is largely to do with your whole body. Your nutrition intake, your lifestyle, your blood circulation, everything play important role to ensuring that your eye have sufficient resources to regenerate and maintain its current healthy wellness. Thank you.
Well, that is indeed an alarming figure, Mr. Jason. Now that we are dealing with a viral pandemic, I think the world is also largely unprepared for a metaphorical vision pandemic. So how does iGym help in this situation?
iGym is working with PW Sparks Family on the prevention of lifestyle related disability. So Dr. Billy takes care about nutrition parts with his farm, vegetarian and fish, while I offer my therapy services at iGym. A lot of people think that only way to treat the eye is through laser surgery or other uncomfortable procedure, which I beg to differ. Based on success story that my client have after they try our iGym therapies. At iGym, we manage to obtain international licensing as a distributorship of proprietary technology from Australia, from Taiwan, Australia, from Australia, Taiwan, Australia. It's a kind of therapy machine that energizes the body for the efficient healing process, including eye. We also provide eye muscle training and to prevent strengthening optic nerve as we age. You can see some of the pictures, some of the articles I get from the WHO and international platform. I have also been educate my client about the specific nutrients needed by the eye to maintain it for its best performance. And these nutrients are available either in via supplement or natural resources. And do you see the spectacle I'm wearing? It's a ion spec. We speak of a special engineering material that release to ion to reduce the eye pressure. This can help glaucoma patients, and we are giving out free for all glaucoma patients, unlimited. I want to end this with a note urging all our audience to face good care of your eye. These are in fact the biggest asset your body can ever have. Temporarily, we have only one outlet in KL. If you happen to be KL, you are free to drop by for a free trial at the gym and feel yourself and how our gym can help out future humanity. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jason, for highlighting on the importance of eye care. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end with the 10 speakers. It's a wrap. Now, thank you so much to all the speakers for today, and well done to you guys. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the WHD founder chairman, the Secretary General of WHD Malaysia, for giving me this opportunity to moderate today's conference and being part of the WHD family. Thank you, Dr. Sheikh Abdul Bashir. Now, I also would like to thank all the leaders. Well done on the amazing work that you do, and keep it up. Keep up the good humanitarian work that you do. Spread peace and love. With that, ladies and gentlemen, God bless everyone and thank you. I will pass the session over to Samantha.
Thank you so much, Hema. You just have your way of drawing out the most inspiring part of people. Well done. And I must say that I am so humble. I'm so humbled to able to co-host this conference with you and with all you heroes on board. I myself, I'm a new kid around the block. I have so much to learn from all of you in terms of wisdom and resilience. Why I say resilience is because based on what our speakers have shared, we can all agree that compassion fatigue is a very real psychological phenomenon, which I'm pretty sure Dr. Florence can attest to this. And having a right mindset and humanitarian model is definitely an important aspect to ensure that we can continue our efforts without feeling exhausted. Because, you know, when you keep giving and giving and giving, there is no end to it. We need a model. So I also realized that I haven't really properly introduced myself because I was so excited. So yeah, myself, I'm the co-founder of PWD Smart Farmability, which is founded by Dr. Billy Tang, which was mentioned by Mr. Ezra and Mr. Jason Yu as well. And over here, I am very impressed to hear our speakers like Mother Mangalam, Mr. Muhammad Nasir, Mr. Karmizi, and Mr. Naresh attesting that one of the most important things that we have to take care of for the people who are underprivileged are actually the food chain, which is largely ignored. And over here, what we have been advocating is that nutrition can save a nation. And agriculture is no longer about farming, but about feeding. I have a lot to share, but not today, maybe next time. So what I want to add to what everyone has said earlier is that we have to rethink what generosity is, okay? Generosity is not just a one-way giving, it is a model, and we have to rethink generosity. Instead of it's giving, it is about sharing. And when you're talking about sharing, you're sharing with people whom you care about. You're sharing it with the people whom you love. But the thing is, where do you draw the line on who you define as your people? Is it people of the same race, people of the same nation, or just people everywhere? And over here, as part of the family of World Humanitarian Drive, we have a tall call to, you know, embrace humanity as a whole and just be generous and kind to everyone, addressing the needs of different people according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I'm very happy to say that over here, PWD Smart Farmability will also be working very closely with our Secretary General, Dr. GP Doraisamy, on this project we call Feeding Without Borders, in which we are going to open up our fish adoption program worldwide. So every Malaysian around the world can adopt an organic giant tilapia, which is around this size, just 2 kilograms more or less, for only £6. And these fishes are organically grown, and then they will be given to the families. And we just want to show that it is actually not that difficult to do a good deed. You know, everyone has 35 ringgit, everyone has £6, and if you have it, you just share it with someone, and that fish alone can feed a family of 8. So yeah, that's I am so impressed by everything that everyone has said. And without further ado, I'd like to invite our very much beloved Professor Dr. GP Doraisamy, the Secretary General of WHD Malaysian Chapter, to deliver his closing speech.
Thank you. Thank you, Samantha Mock. You've done a lovely job. At this juncture, I would like to extend my gratitude and congratulate our Honorable Sir Dr. Abdul Bashir Said, the founder, president of WHD worldwide. And also, not forgetting Ms. Sarah Wilson, the head of global operations of WHD, and her team. And again, Ms. Samantha Mock and the host, and our moderator, Ms. Hema Doraisamy. Now, this idea of having a global community leaders conference was started about a month ago. It was a very short period. I wanted to recognize all the 7 global humanitarian laureates who were awarded this prestigious World Award on the 28th of June. Well, it was during the COVID pandemic time. So precisely the award was known as the Stars of COVID 2020. And I wanted all the 7 global humanitarian awardees to be recognized, to be known, not only in Malaysia, but by all chapters around the world. And I had a friendly talk with the founder president, and obviously he agreed for this event. So we had organized this within a period of less than four weeks. And I tell you that after hearing all the 7 winners of Global Humanitarian Award, I'm very much convinced that all these 7 people have very quietly gone out during the COVID times, helping people out there. It's not an easy job. They have to give their time, they have to provide their efforts, their financial, whatever finance they have, limited resources. And in spite of all family obstacles and challenges, they went out to serve the people who are affected or non-affected, the poor people, the underprivileged, the needy people. And these are the people, as I call them, they also are the frontliners, not only the doctors, not only the police or the army, but these 7 global humanitarian laureates are also the frontiers, together with all these people who are out there to serve the people. So this is one small recognition which I felt that WHD must provide to them. And today, all the 7 spoke so well, so vividly, with so much of experience. I can see the inspiration, the motivation in them, the burning desire in them. And they're willing to come out. They're willing to share their experiences with people like us. I salute Mother Mangalam, yang berbahagia, Datin Paduka Dr. Mother Mangalam, at 94. At 94, she's still serving, and when I hear her speech, I felt very small. Come on, at 94, she's with us, yeah, on the screen, online, and talking to us, and still sharing her experiences. So I thank Mother Mangalam, and also that in Punam with her. And of course, the other speakers, Tuan Haji Jais from Malaysian Corruption Watch, Mr. Padmanathan Nair from the Parim, the Indian Army, the veteran Indian Army of Malaysia, Penang chapter, and Dr. Florence Sanaya, who spoke so well about Sneham. It's not easy to run this organization, 24 hours, I don't know. Dato, do you go to sleep? 24 hours. My God. It's not easy to run an NGO. Yeah. And you have gone through all those challenges and still going through. Salute Sneham and your team of people out there to help people. And I hear from Mr. Ahmad Tarmizi, another global humanitarian who has served not only in Malaysia, but in overseas as well. Very experienced leader who deserves this award as well. And of course, our friend, Mr. Nasir, Brother Nasir, yeah. No doubt he is not educated. Now, NGO service doesn't need education. NGO service need your dedication, not education, your dedication to be out there among the people, the needy people, the people who need. It's not that education can lead you there, but this man, the man who went all out to help the people out there during the COVID times, and he was recognized by WHD London. I feel very proud for people like him, and he, one of those examples for other people. People always think, oh, I must have the education, I must have the position, I must have the high post to serve. No, that is why we have people who are highly qualified. We have people from the middle group and people from the lower group without much education, but with dedication to serve the society. And of course, we had Brother Naresh Pillai, a young gentleman, who professionally is a pilot, but coming down, not only he's always on the air, but he has to come down, touch base, yeah, to be with the people. Very seldom we hear a pilot who flies always on the air and coming down to the people and to serve. Very rarely we hear such people in our society. And these are the people who have been recognized and must be recognized not only at this level, for more levels, yeah, for more things to come. So I feel that we have people, all kind of people from the Pure Life Society, people from Malaysian Corruption Watch, Tuan Haji Jais Karim, yeah, who spoke very well. You know how corruption is, not only in this country, but in many other countries, in third world countries. It's not an easy job to overcome corruption. You cannot solve corruption, but you may lessen the seriousness of corruption level in any society or in any government or in any country. And that's what Malaysian Corruption Watch is doing together with the MACC, Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. They're doing a beautiful job. Thank you, Tuan Haji Jais Karim. You are well recognized at this juncture as well. And those are the 7 global humanitarians who spoke so well. Thank you. Thank you for taking your precious time to be with us for this evening. And of course, the 3 guest speakers, Mr. Alagason Ayaru, Mr. Ezra Tan, and Mr. Jason Hugh, all are social entrepreneurs. You have heard about Mr. Alagason Ayaru, a man who has served the society even though he's well educated, but coming down to the people, to be with the children, to be with the orphans, to be with the needy, and running a center to serve these people is another big challenge. And he has taken the challenge. So it is a rightful platform for him to promote his services in WHD at this juncture. Again, Mr. Ezra Tan, a very young gentleman with a young team. I was with him. He had won the Malaysia Book of Records just last month. A young man, he has got a bright future. And we want him to come to the international level through WHD. Who knows, one day he will be talking at the another international platform, a very high international platform, on about his Manila farm. Very daring project. And he spoke very well, Mr. Ezratan, you spoke very well. Great motivation, great inspiration for the younger generations. and of course, Mr. Jason Hugh. Now, you have also made an impact today. Why? Because today, people have eyes, people can see, but people have got no vision. People have eyes, but do you have the vision? So the future, as what you said, the future in the next 20, 30 years, how many million people are going to be affected by their eyesight. So this is an awareness for all these people, not only the young people, the middle-aged group, and also for the elderly people. So we had chosen people from different categories, from different levels, who were able to be part of the society, to go out day and night to help the people. Now, how many of them are willing to do this? Especially in today's world, there's so many commotions, violences, fightings, all going around. What's happening in France? What's happening in Spain? What's happening in America? What's happening in some other countries in the Middle East? That is what Mr. President, Founder President said, that the tag for this session is Malaysia for Peace. Very suitable. It really fits our conference, the Global Community Leaders Conference. So the tag is Malaysia for Peace. Friends, I'm so glad, I'm so happy. All of you spoke so beautifully, so well in this session. And once again, to all the stars of COVID and all the social entrepreneurs, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And of course, I should not forget to thank one person who is our reporter, our journalist, who has given a very beautiful write-up. I've posted in our chat group for today, and he's with us, he's watching us, he's taking down all the notes, all you have spoken, he has taken down all your notes, and he's coming with us wherever we are going. And our ultimate destination is none other to reach the pinnacle that is up to the world level, to take you up to the United Nations level. That is WHD's duty. And I have very great confidence, respect for our founder chairman, Honorable Dr. Sir Abdul Bashir Said, a very humble gentleman, very respectful gentleman, who has given me this task. And I'm so happy. I'm enjoying my task, sir. And you spoke so well about peace, Malaysia for peace. I'm so glad. So once again, I thank WHD worldwide and all the team who has been with me, yeah, to make this program very successful. And of course, without our speakers, our 10 speakers' participation, this function is nothing. This session is nothing. But I'm proud. I'm glad that all of you spoke so well, so beautifully. With that, I thank once more, especially to all the speakers, 10 speakers. Fantastic, fantastic performances, fantastic presentation. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. G.P. Doraisamy. That was a very wonderful, heartfelt speech of gratitude that we all can relate to. So we have come to the last part of our session, and that is the certificate giving ceremony. So yeah, because we want to thank and properly show our gratitude to all 10 speakers, so you definitely not walk away empty-handed. So let's give the first certificate to Yang Berbahagia Datin Paduka Dr. Mother Mangalam. Vice President Datin Punam. Mr. Haji Jais Abdul Karim. Mr. Padmanathan Raman Nayar. Dato Dr. Florence Sinaya, Mr. Muhammad Nasir Mohidin, Mr. Ahmad Tarmizi Mokhtar, Mr. Naresh Pillai Ravindran, Mr. Alagesan Ayaru, Mr. Ezra Tan, and Mr. Jason Yu. Also not forgetting our very friendly moderator, Ms. Hema Doraisamy.
And also our host for today, Samantha.
Thank you so much.
Samantha, well done, Samantha.
Thank you so much, Hema. Nothing without your generous guidance. So we've come to the end of the session. Thank you so much, all of you. Tonight has been wonderful. And I would like to close today's conference with a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty. On behalf of all the speakers here, I'd like to extend my utmost gratitude to the World Humanitarian Drive, Dr. Syed, Dr. G.P. Doraisamy, Ms. Sarah Wilson, Ms. Hema Doraisamy, the media, the team, and everyone else whom I have not mentioned in the list for making this opportunity to drive our advocacy. Thank you, goodbye, and see you all again soon.